now these two teams feel like that they can make a run at the championship. Franklin used to winning. They've only had 3 losing seasons in the last 25 years, and they want to get back on track this season as well and off to a good start.
We're here at East. It's homecoming, and it's just about time for kickoff. Moments away from football on Bojangles' Friday Night Rivals. Well, our teams have taken the field. Here come the Eagles of East, and welcoming in on this homecoming Friday night, the Panthers out of Franklin High School. These two teams ready to go. Quick look at our Hyundai of Asheville keys to the game as we kick it off, and we are underway here in East Flat Rock, North Carolina. Happy to have you with us on Bojangles' Friday Night Rivals. Quick return. Here come the visitors up the far side with all kind of running room, and just the start Franklin was looking for. Panthers returning the opening kick. It's the name you'll hear all night long. Braden Hervey. What did Coach tell us? Not a shock, not a surprise, not a secret who our best player is. His best player just showed up to spot him 6 by returning the opening kick.
Man, there is a statement to begin, and he really tight-roped it down the sideline to stay in bounds. Thought at one point going to get knocked out of bounds, but heck of a job to get it started the right foot for Franklin.
Just the start that Franklin was looking for, and the extra point straight up and through before the home fans can settle in good here on homecoming. One of the historic, consistent powers in Western North Carolina, the Panthers of Franklin, make their presence known. And Tom, this was vintage Braden Hervey.
Yeah, good blocking out on the edge as well. He's got a convoy as he takes down the sideline. I don't know how he was able to negotiate that, but he was able to take it the distance 96 yards.
94, I think officially is where that's going to go down. A 94-yard return for Braden Hervey. Well, he also lived up to the other communication from the coaching staff when they said he will make a difference in all 3 phases. He's going to be among the playmakers on the offensive side of the football. You will see him defensively in the linebacking core, and, well, you already know what he can do in the return game. So here's a guy whose presence felt to this point will be critical tonight for the Panthers.
Yeah, I'll tell you, that's a pretty good kick. I mean, deep, and if you cover it, maybe going to get good field position, but they were able to make a play on special teams, and both coaches we talked to today, that was one of the emphasis that they had, was they've got to be good in that part of the game.
Caden Williams is back and set to become the potential return man. He is not alone back there. Williams joined by Isaac Schultz, the 2 potential return men for the Eagles. Will they have a response? Going to be Schultz up across the 25. He's up to the 29-yard line, and that's where the home team will take over for the very first time. So Franklin won the toss, opted to receive. It worked out to the tune of a 94-yard opening kickoff return. And now Lex Burns and his crew are going to be working from behind right out of the chute. Lex Burns, of course, the senior quarterback, having matured another year, and the playmakers are there, Tom. Isaac Schultz, who you saw there in the return game for him. You're going to see a lot of Caden Williams. They have Knoll there. Stevens and Stokes are tremendous to set the perimeter. It's all about this triple option approach that they have installed here at East. We'll see how effective it can be. First snap into the hands of Burns. Going to be kept on the ground, of course. A little bit of room. outside at the 35 and up near the marker before finally being driven out of bounds is the ball carrier. You know, his decisions become critical on a night like this.
It does, and you know, a guy that's grown up a little bit in the system there and having that opportunity and much more experience right now as you get a look at the offensive side of things. Of course, Burns was the quarterback, but you mentioned Scholes, and they got some guys, Stokes, out on the edge as well, and Lowell and Stevens as well, and that offensive line he likes as well. So they're a team that wants to run the football, no question about that. You got to play disciplined defense against that triple option.
Well, you know what the triple option can do? It makes you game plan in a different way. Coaching staff saying one of the reasons they went that direction, they have 4 or 5 months to instill it, to install it, and teams have 4 or 5 days to prepare for it. So the advantage there offensively, but at a disadvantage on the scoreboard right out of the chute, this home team, though they are riding high, coming in with a tremendous start to the year, erasing the memories of what has been in recent history and looking to put together what would be a marquee night if they can come from behind early and put this one in the win column. But the defense going to have something to say about that. One of the reasons, Ty Carver and company, and the way they're coming into their own up front. Here's a look at the defensive line.
Yeah, you mentioned Carver there, but man, I mean, Sutton and Garrett Young is a freshman. We'll talk about tonight, the leading tackler at this point. McGahey at the nose tackle spot up front. You get to the secondary, and you've got Desarn back there, who's a returning starter. They got some experience on that side of the football.
Yeah, plenty of it. You'll see a number of names there that you see on the other side of the football as well. There will be some Iron Man activity on both sides tonight. Third down, and it's going to be a long 3. Meaning the 39-yard line. Burns going to toss this out, and it is incomplete, going to bounce at the feet of his intended target. On the scene there, among others, was Lance Parker. Parker, a guy, you see him wearing jersey number 20 there, who they talk about as the quarterback of the secondary. Mention how he leads the communication, gets everybody lined up, and you see him working with all those on the defensive side of the football. Backing up and getting set for the return, a man who's already made his mark. Braden Hervey stands back inside the 40-yard line on the other side, as East is going to kick it away. Eli Whitmire, the handler of those responsibilities. Schultz going to handle the PATs, kickoffs tonight in the absence of Barclay George on the east side of things. But it's going to be Eli Whitmire in his usual spot in the punting responsibilities. A false start going to back him up. He'll kick it from a little further back. This may mean even better field position, but boy, the tough challenge right now, playing a little keep away from Herbie tonight.
Yeah, and again, directional kicking, it's something that if you can utilize that, that's a good thing. Sometimes it doesn't work that way when you try to do it, though.
Handles the high snap, but then has it blocked. And it's going to rattle around before it is finally covered up, and in there to disrupt it was Attic Sutton. He's an all-conference performer on the offensive side of the football, and he, too, has a special teams play of consequence.
I'll tell you what, I mean, you go back to getting off the field on third down, and then that high snap has to go, and he came right up the middle, able to get a hand on it. Special teams play. Talked about that at the outset of the kickoff return, and now they get one to the defensive side of the football. Great field position here to maybe take a really early commanding lead.
How about the two backs on the offensive side? You'll see them featured now. Braden Hervey, who returned a 94-yard opening kickoff for 6. And Attic Sutton, who just broke loose to get in there on the punter and gave great field position to the Panthers, who have it in the red zone. The early First Bank red zone chance. First Bank, 23 locations across Western North Carolina and the upstate. 16 of them right here in Western North Carolina to serve you. This offense under the direction of Anderson Terrell, a sophomore, JV last year, coming into his own and maturing before our very eyes.
Yeah, he's a young man that's going to have that opportunity to grow up, and you know, quarterback Laylock last year as a tight end, so he's as it has been so far this year, been successful.
Brock Bradley, of course, that tight end who was at the quarterback position for this team a year ago. They get it out to Hervey, and he's finally going to meet a host of those dark home jerseys as he works close to the 10-yard line. Yeah, Terrell, they talk about the next step being just trusting his personnel. Here is his personnel, the Bojangles starting lineup for Franklin.
Oh, he talked about Hervey, he talked about Sutton. Desarn is a guy that is a playmaker as well. And up front, the Waldrop brothers there, and Maverick guy goes both ways. They like the makeup of their offensive line.
Maverick Waldrop, Mace Waldrop, both handling things at the center position, and just left of that. And you said it, two-way player in the form of Maverick Waldrop. He and Bryson Gibbs, the two returning starters that anchor this offensive line for Franklin. And after looking at the opposite side of the line, timeout being called for as the Panthers want to make sure they're in the formation they want on third down. One on the board with the special teams play. And the Franklin Panthers looking for more after the break. East team that snapped the streak, coming away with their first victory in a while after a winless campaign a year ago. That was to get things jump-started this season. They've strung together several, hosting a Franklin team tonight that's coming off of one of just 3 campaigns that didn't end up on the winning side in the last quarter century. Boy, have they come out of the gate hot tonight. Franklin leading at 7-0, and with the football, 3rd down and 4 coming from just outside the 12-yard line. Toss, who else? Herbie looking for a window. He's going to be short of the first down. So 4th down, and a decision to come here on 4th down, and a long, well, it's looking like a couple of yards, really, with where they end up spotting the football. Remember, this is a team that has the ability, with Daniel Riddle, the kicker, to put points on the board in these type scenarios. But opting to go for it on 4th down to try to take a sizable advantage early. Lunging forward, and this appears at first glance to be short. And that would be a huge stand for East, as the Eagles turn aside the first true drive of the football game from Franklin and take over on downs deep in their own territory.
I'll tell you what, Jason, that is major league right there. You're looking at a 7-0 deficit after a 94-yard kickoff return for a touchdown. The block punt had the ball at the 18-yard line. What a tremendous defensive stand right there for East Henderson.
Well, and Franklin serving notice that they plan to put some points up on the board here, and in large fashion, by deciding to go ahead and roll the dice on 4th down. Defense answers the bell, and here comes East offense. Lex Burns quickly back out there. Another glance at that triple option look. This was a spread team a year ago, putting in a new system under 2nd year head coach Colton Brackett. Of course, his name familiar to the East family, as he played here, was a part of that semifinals team, that state semis team, and that run in 2008 that they're still talking about. We'll relive some of that before the night is done. But he, as well as Coach Michael Robinson, who is on the staff and was the headliner from that 08 team that made the run to the state semifinals, and they're trying to reestablish the glory of a program that has been down for some time, but he's already turned it and has begun what he calls the climb. Going to keep this. Burns, after faking the give, will be up across the 15 to the 17-yard line. And actually Schultz going to be given the football, and Schultz with a handful. And Tom, a 3rd down right here. You see him give it to Schultz in the interior on the far side there. And amongst all the traffic, he's able to secure a little bit of yardage. But boy, talk about a couple of early third downs that are key. Here's another.
Yeah, and one of the keys we talked about too is the yardage you're able to get on first down or second down. You don't want to be put in this position on third down three the football last time, and they really don't want to be in that type of position. Let's see what they can do here.
3rd and 7, team that can throw it. Connection made as it is slung out near side to Landon Knoll, the senior. 5'6", 140, right place, right time here.
Yeah, that's a big play right there. Back up near your goal line. Actually, outstanding defensive stand there. And how to keep the ball away from Franklin at that point. I mean, a team that runs 68% of the time throws 32, but that was a big conversion there.
Yeah, 3rd down conversion. Now, you say, is that Knoll? Yeah, he usually wears jersey number 2. He's wearing 19 tonight. And a guy, they talk about a quick trigger to get where he needs to be. One of the star returners, an all-conference performer a year ago, the tough-nosed receiver making the catch. And the ball on the turf. Let's see who lands on top of it. An indication from Franklin they have it, and now an official indication they have it. Another takeaway by this Franklin defense. The Panthers will take over. Great field position in effect once more as they'll set up shop in the red zone.
Yeah, Cook able to come up with it. You'll get one more look at it here. Just kind of spikes down on the ball. It bounded away, and you never know with that oblong ball how it's going to go. A second look there, you stripped it out of there. I think he's the one that got out of the bottom 2.
Ripped right out of Caden Williams' hands, and a first bank red zone chance. In fact, the ball resting right on the 20-yard line as Terrell and company go back at it. Toss. Hervey wades through a little traffic to begin things, and he's out to the 15. All right, Hervey, you've already seen a playmaker. His size and speed, that combination making him a tremendous college prospect.
Yeah, 5'11", 210 senior comes in. 53 carries, 329, 8 touchdowns, 109 yards per ball game so far, and averaging more than 6 yards.
Having him part of the difference, he missed 8 games a year ago with injury. You have to believe that had something to do with the way the season went when all was said and done. And he's already made his presence known, we said, in this game, but that's true in the season in full, having put together a handful of monster games in all facets. They'll use him as a decoy this time, but the pass falls harmlessly to the turf just inside the 5 out of the hands of Anderson Terrell. 3rd down coming again with 5:26 to play in the opening period.
A lot of pressure on that East Henderson defense. They were able to make a great stand last time. You get them to throw the incomplete pass. And again, this is a Franklin team that averages 32.6. They've been over 30 points per game in all 3, and they run it 76% of the time, so they don't throw it all that much. But this is a big play. We saw them go on 4th down, so maybe they get half of it or a little bit more. Maybe go for it on 4th down.
2 teams that love to run the football. 2 teams facing a lot of early 3rd downs of consequence. Here's the latest. Kept on the ground, and you said it, Tom, right about half of it, and a 4th down decision coming once more after that's carried forward by adding Sutton. We talked to the coach a little bit earlier in preparation this week, and I loved what he said. What has been the difference this year for this team? He said, we didn't wave a magic wand. We're just playing better football. Here's a chance to prove that further on a 4th down chance in the red zone. Turned aside by East last time around. Forward with it, and Tom, that is at least very close to being turned aside again by East. We'll see if the Eagles have their second stand of this first quarter. It is this time around going to be a first down. Official eyeballs it, says it was enough. Move the chain. So a tale of 2 drives for Franklin. This one converted in a fresh set of downs at the 10. Here is the East Henderson D, having been very busy already.
Yeah, you got a couple of guys that are going both ways. Ben Justice there, one right defensive end. We've seen Pruitzman so far. Gabe Jones in the middle is an outstanding linebacker. Page as well. Get into the secondary with Stevens and Stokes back there as well. So they've got some guys like Franklin that go both ways.
Clock ticking under 4:30 opening period. The only team to score the special teams thus far on the Franklin side, and the offense before they can run this first down play from the 10. brought to a halt by flags.
Well, you go back to that 4th down play, Jason. I mean, quarterback just kept it. Terrell and just kind of hopped over the line and stepped over maybe the center that was flat, and then just powered forward and able to get the first down. And I kind of like the call there. The team we mentioned that runs it so much that trying to throw on first down and catch them off guard.
Yeah, some space made by Mace Waldrop. We talked about his brother Maverick Waldrop as well as Bryson Gibbs. Of course, Anthony Martinez and Max Sinclair, the tackles that finish that offensive line that have done enough for Franklin to keep the drive going. What will they do with this possession? Hervey, of course, tries to bounce it outside and stays on his feet. They're going to mark him out around the 5. And it was a goal-to-go scenario to begin with, so 2nd down coming from there.
How good has he been, Jason, on the sideline? The kickoff to begin and went 94. He just went up the sideline. And in this particular case, it looked like he might have a 2 or 3 yard gain and then able to pick his way and stay in bounds for a good game.
Up under 4 and inside the 5 for the Panthers. Hervey navigates the traffic and finds pay dirt. Hervey into the end zone. Well, he has a special teams touchdown. Now his first offensive touchdown of the night. And Braden Hervey continues to pile up the numbers on this 24 season as he looks to double the advantage for the visitors.
He got up that right side, plenty of room there, and easily takes it in for the touchdown. A couple turnovers and short field position, able to take advantage of the second time.
All 3 phases. That was the terminology related to Hervey, and they said he's back bigger, he's back stronger, he's back faster, and he is back into the end zone for the Franklin Panthers. We're going to have a flag on this point after. It is offside against East Henderson. And with the extra point, having initially been kicked, it looked like everybody was headed to the sideline on the Franklin side. But needing to punch this one through the uprights, coach's staff says, wait a minute, turn around. Another try coming for Daniel Riddle. Didn't kick a lot of PATs last year, but he was perfect on them. And he will begin perfect here tonight. Punches it right through. And a second touchdown from Braden Hervey. The first of the offensive variety. Makes it a 14-0 Franklin lead. Don't let game night dinner get you stressed. Stop by Ingles. Great choices from the Ingles Deli include rotisserie chicken, fresh-made salads, a delicious hot bar, and sub bar. It's dinner and a snap, then off to the game. Ingles. Low prices. Love the savings. Seven plays, 20 yards after the takeaway. 2 minutes, 24 seconds off the clock. Hervey again. This time a 5-yard touchdown run, just like that. 14-0 Franklin, trying to make it a 1-0 start to the conference season. Trying to see to it that East doesn't snap that streak in conference play on this night in East Flat Rock. Here comes a return at the 10-yard line that is taken. Schultz up to the 22. And that's where things will start for East. Well, we talked about the need to make the climb. Let's go ahead and document that for you. It's an acronym for the following basic elements upon which this Eagles program is being built by Colton Brackett. He said the C stands for consistency in competing. The L stands for the little things. The I is for intensity and intentionality. The M is for mental toughness, and when all that comes together, you got quite a brotherhood, Tom.
Yeah.
And that has been his challenge to this team, make the climb. They've got a little bit of a climb tonight, down 14-0 early, but this team already showing in the early part of the season their makeup is something special. Here they go to work once more, and a nice screen set up. All kind of room. Move the chains. First down toss as they go through the air this time to get it in the hands of, well, and that's what you really are impressed by. They will utilize the different contributors they have. Guys like Noel, who's we've seen on more than one occasion in the early going here. This may be a team capable of running the triple option, but they're not limited there.
No, they aren't, and you know they just need a really good offensive set here to settle down a little bit. They won a 3-0 game last week against Olin. They got beat by Hendersonville 46-6 prior to that, so only scored 9 in the last couple of games.
Another screen set up, this time near side. And a little bit of room on the inside for Leland Prutzman. First time we called number 5's name. Won't be the last. He's on both sides of the football tonight.
Yeah, he's one of those guys that goes both ways. Both teams have a couple, and you know, sun's gone down. It was relatively warm here earlier this afternoon. We'll see if that becomes a factor in the ball game here this evening.
Yeah, what do you think temperature-wise? You walked it a little bit ago.
Well, not bad. I think once the sun went down, beautiful, a picturesque ballpark here. Nice setting for high school football.
Tremendous turf, just what you would expect in a Western North Carolina environment on this Friday night with the bright lights shining down. Boy, was that red and snuffed out by Ty Carver again. Carver's such a presence on one side of Josh Magaha with Maverick Waldrop, who's one of the two-way players on the other side. It's Carver here who does the difference.
Yeah, 5'11", 220 senior on the defensive end. He missed Waldrop, 6'1", 240, and then McGahey in the middle at 230, so pretty solid up front out of that three-man.
Third down coming here, 1 of 2 to this point for East. Throwing again. And right in the hands of who else? Hervey. Will he add a defensive TD? Absolutely. He returned the opening kickoff for a touchdown. He scored the team's first offensive touchdown and now has a defensive score to go with it. When they say Braden Hervey is effective in all 3 facets, here are the images to prove it.
Had time to throw and just throws into traffic, overthrew the intended receiver, and then he knows what to do with it when he has the ball in his hands, and he takes it the distance again for the touchdown.
51-yard pick 6. And busy in the early going with another extra point try. Is Daniel Riddle, and his kick is good. Well, a touchdown on special teams, a touchdown on offense, a touchdown on defense, all from Braden Hervey. And he has put together a tremendous first quarter. Some would call it a full football game, but 11 is just getting started, Tom.
Tell you what, just a fantastic start for this Franklin Ball Club and for Hervey individually. The ability to make a play in special teams, and then able to take advantage of a turnover in a short field, and then again with the interception, take it the distance with the score. And we talk with both teams, and it's kind of coach speak, but you know, you want to hang on to the football, don't want to turn it over.
That's a United Federal Credit Union touchdown, the latest for Hervey. All of our touchdowns tonight sponsored by United Federal Credit Union. That's whether they come on special teams, offense or defense, from Hervey. And he has kept the opponent busy locating his realm on all 3 phases in this one tonight. Has his team up 21-0 with 1:40 to go in the opening period. That's into the end zone. Got to be a touchback. Boy, isn't that one of the things that Franklin head coach Josh Brooks was talking to us about? What a luxury it is to have a kicker who can put it in the end zone consistently. He said more often than not it's going to be a touchback, and we feel like that's a major blessing to our team and a tremendous strength, because we believe, of course, talking about the other head coach, there's a look at the guy opposite him, Colton Brackett, at the helm of this East Henderson side. But the guy we're talking about, Josh Brooks, is a guy who said 80 yards for the other team to make a mistake. That's the way we view it when we kick it into the end zone.
They've been successful doing that in another situation where East Henderson could use something positive to happen on the offensive side with the kickoff return, the fumble recovery, and also the interception.
You saw Colton Brackett there, the second-year head coach. What will he dial up for his team here offensively? And this is going to be out near the 29-yard line. Here on the stop, among others, to step up was Carroll Cook, who wears jersey number 19. This is a defense tightening some things up. They're hungry to do things the right way, is what the coaching staff had to say about this day. You look at some of the group coaching staff-wise challenging this team. Said they found an end zone camera that they were able to use to get some things lined up properly on the defensive side of the ball, something they had not utilized before, but definitely growth defensively. One of the reasons they believe this will be a much different year than the one they just completed. Caden Williams given the football, and he keeps on churning, boy. Caden Williams refusing to go down here, Tom, and he's going to make it manageable on the upcoming conversion try.
Yeah, I mean, if they don't blow the whistle, just keep it going. I mean, they had him right there, and guys up front trying to pound ahead and keep the legs driving. Nice job.
Caden Williams, guy who's a fullback type at that backfield position in his junior campaign. They talk about 15 pounds up, and most of it muscle, and the strength that gives him. A guy been committed in the weight room and seeing the results on the football field of late. Stays right in the heart of things, where eventually Josh Magaha, among others, is over there to help wrestle down Lex Burns. Of course, Ty Carver again. And fourth down is coming. And it'll come to begin the second period of play. 1 quarter in the books. Dose after dose after dose of Braden Hervey as the visitors up big.
Okay, they've switched into the field here. Brings us 4th down and 3.
You just might see an image or two of Braden Hervey as a part of the Asheville Chevy Show coming up at the half. 11 has a special teams touchdown, a defensive touchdown, an offensive touchdown. That one was, of course, sandwiched in the middle. If you're just joining us, he's the reason. Teams with the paw on the side of the jersey has a 21-0 advantage as we begin the second quarter of play. Well, what a tremendous night. It kind of alluded to it earlier, Tom, but that's a full night for a lot of people. It's just his first quarter.
You would take that, yes, on any given night, that's for sure. And you kind of documented it a little bit earlier, Jason, that he missed those games last year, man.
Down 8 games.
5'11", 215 senior. You know, he really wanted to have an outstanding senior season off to a great start.
Well, and when they say he's back bigger, faster, and stronger, you have to see it to believe it, right? But it has lived up to the communication thus far tonight. Ahead of the fourth down play, a little bit of difficulty on the offensive side, and that means the kicking unit is backed up and set to boot it away inside their own 10-yard line for East, and that's going to mean more excellent field position, and you know who's standing back getting ready to return this. Hervey is at the 49-yard line on the east side of the field looking for more. And that hops up into the kicker's grasp. It's blocked again. Going to roll out near the 20, is still live, and ultimately picked up and carried a little closer to the end zone by Aiden Pitts, who has set the Panthers up nicely once more. Boy, Pitts, one of the safeties defensively with his special teams moment, and here's what served as the catalyst.
Yeah, low snap there and just tried to get it out of there, and tried to fall on that football, didn't have it.
Garrett Young comes in there and gets a hand on it. When you talk pedigree there at Franklin, the name Young means so much, and it's Garrett Young who sets up the First Bank red zone opportunity by deflecting it for Aiden Pitts to ultimately scoop up. First down play. Terrell and company lunging toward the end zone. No signal yet, though everybody's standing over the goal line. And it looks as if they're going to stop this just shy of the plane. This is going to be on the inch line, Tom. A second down and goal.
Boy, it's just been really, really tough situations for the East Henderson defense. And, you know, it's just one of those situations where they're making the plays on all three facets of the game.
Who do you hand it to? We'll give you one guess. Braden Hervey back into the end zone. He's responsible for all 4 United touchdowns tonight. And it is quickly 27-0 Panthers. All Franklin tonight here at East. All Braden Hervey. Well, got a lot of help. That's what we were told by this staff, and you've seen it. A couple of block punts. Garrett Young, the latest. Pitts able to pick one up, carry it near the goal line. And the finishing touches from Hervey again. This deflected. Could potentially provide a spark for East as they turn aside the extra point and hold it steady at 27-0. One more give to Braden Hervey. 4 scores and 27 points later. Bojangles is a proud sponsor of WLOS. Friday night football. It's not just football season, it's tailgate season. Head to Bojangles. Order your tailgate box today. It's not a tailgate without Bojangles, proud sponsors of WLOS Friday night football. It's bow time. Well, Herbie has a 94-yard kickoff return, a 5-yard touchdown run, a 50-plus yard interception return for a touchdown, and now a 1-yard run to make it 27-0. That kept a 2-play, 3-yard drive that took very little time off the clock, and with 11:08 to play in the half, the advantage grows for the Panthers. East to return this, a little bit of trouble with it inside the 5, going to be scooped up. Here comes Williams, near side, up across the 25, and he's driven out of bounds at the 27-yard line. Caden Williams on the return for East. Boy, some type of response needed for this Eagles team right now, Tom. This is a pretty good recovery for Williams.
Yeah, it really is. I mean, it had disaster written all over it again there, but showed some of his athletic ability. Pick it up, get it to the outside. Get you a little bit of a working room there. And boy, you could use just some first downs, just anything positive on the offensive side.
Team that came in with the head held high for the first time in a while. High energy headed into conference play. You think about what's been done just to build this program here at East. Coach said 16 kids when he took over in June of 23. Has now 50-plus involved in the program. That's the energy that surrounds this thing. But looking to get something jump-started here on a toss to Schultz. He was down after a loss of a couple, going to be second down from behind the sticks. But think on that. Starting with 16 and in 2 years working your way to 50-plus, that speaks to the difference already under this current staff.
Yeah, and of course, Colton Brackett's a guy that was on that 2008 team you talked about, graduated in 2010. He knows what it's like to win some games, and it's been difficult. We talked about 11 consecutive losing seasons, but, 0-10 last year, but these guys had to play, got some experience, and they've gotten off to a good start this year. He'd like to just reestablish the culture here at East Henderson.
He's talked about the buy-in of these kids and how impressed he's been with that. There to work offensively. A little toss far side. That's into the hands of Schultz. And he tries to get back to the line of scrimmage. But third down is coming from distance once more.
And you'll see it there on your screen. And get outside, got off that block perfect over there to make that play, and got some help from Braylon Design as well.
East got to feel like there are 3 or 4 guys wearing jersey number 11 out there tonight.
No kidding.
Only one. His name, Braden Herbie, on the scene once more. Third down, a scenario in which East is 1 for 4 thus far tonight. There is Mr., and I think that's appropriately added to his name, Mr. Herbie, who has been the headliner in this one, to say the least. One of the more impressive performances we've seen by an individual on Friday Night Rivals at any point this season. Timeout called for ahead of this third down play. Tom, let's get into that a little more. The discussion is climb. The need is buy-in from a guy in Colton Brackett who said he's happy here living his dream. This is the dream job. You said it. He was here at East, played as a part of that 2008 team. Who can forget it? They were 9-1, had the 9-game win streak, taking them in as a top team in 3A West. They had all those thrillers. The 3-point win over South Iredell, blocked the field goal against High Brighton, and then that Mount Pleasant game that nobody will ever forget. The kickoff return in the fog as time expired. That's the moment in the history of this program. He knows what it took to get there as a player, and he's trying to replicate that now as a coach.
And he talks about, and he's not that far removed, unlike being you or me, more so than you, but you do remember the successes and the opportunities to play high school football or high school athletics. In most cases, you're not going on the collegiate level, and it reverberates. And you could hear the passion when we visited with him this week about those particular. He said he didn't play much in 2008, but just to be a part of that.
You know who did? Michael Robinson, who's on his staff. He's been there 10 years staff-wise, still a part of this program, and he was the headliner as a running back on that squad in 08. His fingerprints on this program very much as well. Has plenty of credit for those two former teammates and what they are attempting to do and have already done in the young stages of their tenure here. How about the pressure? Able to get in there and create all kind of problems. Big 4-1. That is Caden Berry in pursuit.
Well, and again, East Henderson got into a situation that they don't want to be in as a predominantly running football team. 3rd down and long, 3rd down and 12, be forced to throw the football. And then you saw what happened there at the end.
Set to kick it away again from deep in their own territory, and this has been a familiar refrain in this first half of action.
Well, Jason, their first 4 possessions, block punt, fumble recovery, interception, block punt. So hoping for a little better outcome this time, and you need the good snap, get it out of there, and then the ability to defend it as well.
Two teams, as we built it up, coming on the air off solid starts after difficult seasons a year ago, with their heads held high, seeking a first conference win since 2018 for East. There is the head man here in the land of the Eagles, and seeking a first conference win this year for Franklin. Off to a good start to the tune of 27-0. But boy, what a job he has done already, just in turning the mindset surrounding this community. And he had a lot of love for this community. He said, you know, we didn't win a single game, and yet the stands were packed every week. And it spoke to his belief about if they can just turn it, how much energy and momentum will be there from the community.
Yeah, he was very impressed with the community and their support and what he's trying to accomplish, and gotten off to a good start this year, and not so good here at the first part of this ball game.
His team set to kick it away again. Guess who's standing just below that Eagles logo at the 50-yard line? Braden Hervey looking for more. Well, they're going to take a shot, but it is read and picked off by Aiden Pitts, who is going to carry it back for a touchdown. Aiden Pitts had the scoop, which set up the latest of the Hervey touchdowns, and he has the first of the non-Hervey touchdowns. It is Aiden Pitts with a pick 6 of his own, and the lead simply grows for the Panthers.
Well, they had that defended well, and gave it a shot there. Why not, down by what the margin is, it's 27 up at that point, why not try to go up top? And Pitts did an outstanding job to pick it off, and then he, like Hervey, knew what to do with it, and he takes it into the end zone for a long touchdown.
Yeah, the fake not working out. Instead becomes a second touchdown for this special teams unit. One of the great defenders on this squad knows what it looks like with the rock coming his direction. A second pick 6, running it up over 30. Well, here's a group that is all smiles. Homecoming here at East, and members of the homecoming court featured in our Caroline Albee Smile Cam. All the Smile Cams across the course of our Friday Night Rivals season, sponsored by Caroline Albee Orthodontics, Asheville, Hendersonville, and Brevard, locations to serve you as you get a glance at tonight's Smile Cam. Of course, all those festivities coming up at the half. We too will have the Asheville Chevy Show coming up at the half. It will feature a number of highlights from Franklin's 34-0 advantage, having been built by a combination of all 3 phases. You know, some nights you're good in all 3 phases. This is one of those nights for Franklin. This is going to be booted to the 1-yard line. A little bit of a return available. And bringing it out of there is Leland Kreutzmann, the senior. Gets it back near the 20, and that's where East will take over. Tom, how do you put into words what we've seen from Franklin so far and what East must do now with the final 8:50 remaining in this opening half just to get some traction?
Yeah, you just want some kind of momentum, some positive to happen on the offensive end. They've been good offensively this year. We talked about the last two ball games, struggled a bit against Henderson in 6 and 3-0 win over Owen, but you know, kind of self-destructing a bit, and the couple of interception returns for touchdown, the kickoff return, and you know, a 7-play 20-yard drive and a 2-play 3-yard drive, and those are the 5 touchdowns here tonight so far for this Franklin ball club.
Burns going to work together with Schultz. Actually, that's Williams. Check that this time, who comes rushing across the 25. And he's got a fresh set of downs for East after an explosive run. Caden Williams, mentioned it earlier, but it's worth underscoring. His commitment in the weight room, making all the difference in the world in the off-season, Tom. They talked about the little bit of intentionality there that paid major dividends, and you see on a run like that just how it can pay off when it matters. And they stay with Williams, who on cue has another major positive game.
Yeah, good job up front to give him just a little bit of a crease. That's all he needed. And this offense predicated on the fact that you need to get some yardage like that, particularly on first and seconds down, to get you third and short. And it's been difficult so far, but on this drive, one of the better ones so far.
The difficult thing right now for East is when you're trying to run a triple option approach, the design is to get out front and limit the touches of your opponent by shortening the game. They now playing from behind, something that particular offensive style is not designed to do. May have to turn to some of what was their MO a year ago, spreading it out a little bit more for the senior QB Lex Burns. The good news is he has some experience in that department.
Well, that's true, and his numbers aren't that bad throwing the football. We talked about from the standpoint principally a running team as is Franklin, but you want to be able to throw when you want to throw, not have it dictated to you as far as the down distance is concerned.
In the case so far tonight, based upon what has happened on the other side of the ball. 7.5 ticking downward in this second quarter. What's a 34-0 game. Ty Carver, Waldrop, Magaha up front. Cook, Sutton, Young, who we talked about earlier on his punt block, and Hervey. With Desarn, Sizemore, Pitts, and Parker in that secondary. This defensive group that has held East at bay thus far. Toss, Williams. 27-yard line, or 37, I should say, for Caden Williams as he tries to get back near the marker. We dip under 7 to play.
You know, Jason, we were talking about Franklin. They averaged 32.6, and they've scored at least 30. Got more look at it there. At Murphy, 33-13. Robbinsville, 30-7. 35-7 against Swain County. What kind of gets lost in shuffle there. It's the fact they've been good defensively. Allowing 9 points per game while you're scoring 32. And then they've already got 34 in this one here in the first half.
Well, and Garrett Young's been the leading tackler. You think about the leading returning tackler, Attic Sutton from a year ago. And Young, you said it, is the freshman. But now his pedigree, something special. The guy wearing jersey number 36. You're going to hear about him throughout the night. Looking to fire one long. That is incomplete, just out of the reach of an outstretched defender. Is back there trying to make something out of it was Damian Bowles. Yeah, let's talk Garrett Young just a moment. Hadn't really talked about him. Had that kick that he blocked, which was one of the highlight moments of the contest. But he's the leading tackler on defense. You said it, he's a freshman. His dad played for Franklin 06 and 07. He had several cousins, including Jeremiah, who's the all-time leading rusher and all-time leading tackler in the school's history. And he is a bright, and yeah, we got to say it, right, young talent on this team. They expect he'll be playing at the next level. And, you know, East is aware of it. They said, another Young on that side, and you know that's always dangerous. So he's a young player to watch, the freshman who looks anything but like a freshman right there in the heart of your screen wearing jersey number 36. They go away from him here, and on third down get just across the original line of scrimmage where Ty Carver will slow things. You would never know Garrett Young is a freshman when you look at him compared to the rest of that defense.
6'1", 200. What do you say, 14 years old?
14-year-old with the pedigree, as well as the prospect ability. Another young kid on that Franklin side of things, to borrow the statement of the East coaching staff. And again, a guy with intensity, physicality, who has the history family-wise to make his mark on this program. There he is filling up your screen. Garrett Young, who has been the leader on this defense in his freshman season. Timeout taken before the 4th down play after running it all the way down to 5:23 to go between here and the Asheville Chevy Show that is coming up at the half. Of course, you know the Asheville Chevy Show features highlights, stats, a little more information on some of the student athletes that played tonight, as well as both of these schools here in the land of the Eagles. You'll have a chance to get to know these two schools a whole lot better thanks to the Asheville Chevy Show at the half. Your impressions of this first half thus far? Obviously, the scoreboard says heavily trending Franklin, but what are going to be your takeaways, Tom?
Well, both teams came in with some momentum. Franklin actually was off last week, and East Henderson having won 3 games and had been 0 for 10 last year, and the fact that this was homecoming for them, a lot of things to play for. I had that streak on the line of conference consecutive losing games and so forth, but boy, the way it started, Herbie just set the tone with that 94-yard kickoff return, and then East Henderson has just had too many mistakes. And we talk with both coaches, and each week they'll tell us, you know, want to take care of the football, got to protect the football, do some different things, special teams play, a couple breakdowns, a couple blocks, interceptions, return for touchdown. So it's got all Franklin's way. They've been able to take advantage of every situation that's come their way. And, you know, East just needs to have something positive happen. They're going to eventually have to kick it away again here. Well, no, maybe not.
Well, remember the fake punt last time around. Kicking it to Herbie is always tough sledding to begin with. There are flags. And as Lex Burns runs for his life, everything is whistled to a halt. Fake punt resulted in an interception, returned for a touchdown by Pitts on the 4th down play the last time around. There you can see the offside call against the Eagles. Interestingly enough, offsides pointed the offensive direction here, as the kicking unit now does come on. Eli Whitmire back to put a foot into it.
It's still a really young team, and Brackett trying to get some success going, and didn't win any games last year, but won 3 so far this year. It's a work in progress, and that's what he told us, and he liked the approach and the effort so far of his kids this year.
You got to love his commitment and determination to make this coaching opportunity a reality. But it has been the determination of this Franklin squad. And Braden Herbie, the catalyst for what is a 34-0 advantage. You talk about the commitment level, just to finish up on that for Colton Brackett. You were mentioning the head coach on the east side of things. You know, he ran track at Western Carolina after graduation, drove back and forth between Western and Flat Rock for 3 years, or excuse me, for all 4 years in college, as he was 3+ years on the staff to start his coaching career before heading over to Robertson and then working his way back now as the head man here at East. We'll talk about that a little more extensively in the second half, but you want to know about commitment to working your way back to your alma mater and to this game and to getting your shot, having your opportunity. Well, he exhibited with those trips up and down the mountain to Cullowhee.
He's just like us, a member of the Million Mile Driving Club.
You got it. Could have been a Friday Night Rivals crew member.
That's what we do, and that's what our guys on our crew. I mean, I know you've got ACC stuff this weekend. I'm up in Virginia. Our other guys are going as well.
Yeah, everybody just making the opportunities count, as he did in those days at Western Carolina, to be wherever your name and your number's called. That's what these young men are trying to do on this Friday night. And here's a call of one more time. Addix Sutton's number. I hadn't talked a lot about Sutton, guy who had the first of the blocks on those punts in this one. but is a two-way returning starter and one of the leaders on this squad. And that's the terminology that was used by Coach Brooks. He said the one thing that comes to mind in terms of Attic Sutton, he's one of the clear leaders on both sides of the ball.
Yeah, he loves those linebackers, right? Young, Sutton, Hervey in there, Cook as well. He's had a big night at moving on up front with Carver at the defensive end position and backside as well.
This tough, competitive quarterback tried to swing out a pass to Peyton King, but it falls to the turf. Here's the intended target of Peyton King. King may be one of those moments where he thought the wide open real estate was there for the taking before he secured the catch completely. Peyton King, another of the talented wideouts, along with Bowles, Parker, and Desarn, who handles responsibilities on both sides of the ball as well. Here's a 3rd down and 3 with under 4.5 to go in the opening half of action. Big time hole for Hervey. He cuts inside the 20s in the red zone again. Braden Hervey padding his own numbers tonight as he works his way into the First Bank red zone, and there's some extracurricular on the back of this, Tom. And Schultz came over, one of the two-way players on the east side, and ultimately made the stop. And now the coach has got to get in there and separate everybody as this continues a bit. Tough first half for East, to say the least. And a guy right in the thick of it all is, of course, Hervey. And with him rushing the football, the officials have to sort it all out. Here's another look at the run.
Yeah, set that up, and then he able to break a tackle or two, and then going to be just kind of forced out of bounds over there, and then continue a little bit longer, and he took exception to that, and that's when the brouhaha began over there.
Well, he's closing in on 50 yards on 7 carries, a couple of rushing touchdowns. They've not needed to be of great distance, and he also, if you weren't with us for the majority of this first half of action, has a defensive touchdown and a special teams touchdown. But it all happened after he went out of bounds far side, and our officials have a little something to sort out at the 4:10 mark.
Well, yeah, and again, aggressiveness crossed the line there, and out of bounds marker, and then your kid's playing hard, but a little bit too aggressive over that one.
And that was into the Franklin bench over there. We'll see how the flag that is down just inside the 15 is assessed. This is going to be against East, it would seem, as it was on the end of the play and after the carry by Hervey. So that's going to set Franklin up inside the 10. This red zone opportunity, this First Bank red zone chance, means a 1st and goal scenario. Brackett talking things over with his staff. And as we said, some time at Robertson. Back here at home. Give off again. But whistles before Hervey can do anything this time.
And you look at Jason at all the big plays, the kickoff returns, the interception returns, block punts, and wave it off. Franklin really has not had to put together a long drive themselves, and trying to do that here, and they've been good this year in terms of long drives and being able to finish them off.
Hervey still up all the way to the end zone. 3rd rushing touchdown for Hervey. 5th total touchdown for Hervey. The pick 6, as well as the 94-yard kickoff return. This is the longest of his 3 rushing touchdowns. And he has stretched it out to 40 on the board with the United TD. For the visiting Franklin Panthers. PAT already blocked, and it looked like Schultz had designs on making it 2 of those. But a flag down before the kick is needed.
Kind of getting work out here later are the officials and this officiating crew.
Yeah, a lot of FaceTime for
conversion for the Panthers.
our officials at this point. You see the coaching happening on that sideline, because there is a lot of football left in this one. Extra point. True. 41 on the board. Almost all of them with his impact involved one way or another. The latest Braden Hervey touchdown makes it 41-0. Carolina Furniture Concepts. Over $5 million of furniture in stock, ready to deliver to you. Visit their Arden and Waynesville showrooms today or go online at carolinafurnitureconcepts.com.
Number 1, Will Sinclair, back in kick formation for the Panthers.
Will Sinclair moments away from putting a foot into it for Franklin. For Sinclair, 3 out of 4 touchbacks. And as we mentioned, the Franklin staff saying that means 80 yards for an opponent to make a mistake. We'll see if that holds true this time around, as it is another touchback for Sinclair. Boy, what a luxury it is to have a special kicker like Sinclair. He's a guy they believe also has the talent to play at the next level, Tom, and why not with consistent kicks into the end zone like this?
Yeah, and if you feel good about your defense, make them go 80 yards. That's a long way to go sometimes without making a mistake. And when you start at your 20-yard line, it makes it pretty difficult. Makes it good for the in this particular case for Frank.
Well, we introduced the second-year head coach Colton Brackett to you a little bit earlier in this half. We've talked about his journey. He mentioned Brett Chappell, how he has molded his career by bringing him into the coaching ranks here. We talked about those trips down the hill from Cullowhee. And then he said, also molded by J.D. Dinwiddie, obviously, at Robertson. He said, they teased me a little bit, called me Mini J.D. He said it was from J.D. that the scheming piece of it. He said, yes, the discipline of Coach Chappell, but the culture and the scheming piece of it from Coach Dinwiddie. He really credited those two as being the two that made their marks on his coaching style.
Well, you know, we've done some games over at Robertson as well, and Coach Dinwiddie, I mean, he went through some tough times too, changed his offense and then got him rolling, and that's pretty much his modus operandi. Whenever he's taken over, he's been successful in rebuilding programs.
Yeah, 9 years at Robertson for the guy you just saw on your screen, who's now in his second year as a head coach here at East. Nicely drawn up play. Hey, talk about scheming a little bit. This is a beautiful slant. Now, this is the last thing you want to see. A bit slow to get up after the catch. Noel going to limp off just a bit with help from Kendon Stevens. And he's going to go down. We'll need the training staff's assistance. And again, certainly hope all is well with that young man. Tough to see after a positive moment for East.
Yeah, that was well done. I mean, the fake on the inside there, and then the pop pass over the middle, and it was online, and you know you're probably going to take a big hit.
You know, you saw Kendon Stevens there get ready to try to pick Noel up after he was down. Here's this beautiful catch by Noel, and there you can see right away in some kind of pain. But we haven't talked about Stokes and Stevens. Those two guys responsible for setting and sealing the edge. They have to do a nice job in that department. A couple of key pieces of this offense that may not be targeted as much as what a traditional receiver would be, Tom. but are as valuable to the offensive approach for East.
Yeah, as much as you run the football, your guys on the edge have got to be able to block it as well, and that's pretty much what they've been asked to do in many occasions, and occasionally they'll throw the football to them out of this particular offensive set.
Stays on the ground again, bouncing off the initial tackler. Caden Williams up near midfield. He's just at the base of that Eagles logo, and he will have enough for a first down. Move the chains with just under 3 to play in the half. Here are the Eagles on the march.
The last possession or two, they've been able to get some yardage up the middle running the football, which changes the dynamics of what they want to be able to do. And they would like to have something here late in the first half, something to work on as you go into halftime.
Just shy of the midfield stripe for Lex Burns and company. Caden Williams into Franklin territory.
Jason, really nothing fancy about what they've been able to do the last couple of possessions. They're just taking that ball up inside. O-line's giving them an opportunity and then a little bit of momentum there, and that gives you a good game.
Boy, East fans have to be thinking, if only at the start of the game, this type of ability to move the ball, get the chains moving a little bit. Doing this now in a 41-0 hole, but it's got to start somewhere. And the Eagles remain on the move with a 2nd down and 4. This will be a pass, a little too tall for his intended target. That was Isaac Schultz again. Schultz, a guy, physicality-wise, they talk about, confidence-wise, they talk about. He's the next level type talent. Not even he's able to reel this one in. A little strong off his fingertips. Guys put 4 great games together already so far this season. Schultz is responsible for putting on an absolute show through the first part of this season. One of the reasons this team has been effective thus far. This drive marked by Caden Williams carries, 12 overall in the game. He's a yard shy of 60 thus far, but to the skies on 3rd down again, and this one's picked again. Attic Sutton bringing it back to the 30-yard line where he's finally driven out of bounds. One of the two-way players. Remember, Attic Sutton led this team in tackles a season ago, and he comes away with the latest of the takeaways for this Franklin defense here. And Sutton brings it back to the 30, but there may be more, Tom, as that again ended over in that bench area.
Franklin sideline and hard tackle over there. Let's see if anything transpires. We'll get one more look at it. Kind of stepped up in the pocket, and right there was Sutton.
Attic Sutton.
You see the final part of that play there.
Fullback / linebacker. Just the latest to make his mark on both sides of the football. With 93 seconds left in the half, everything set up at the 31-yard line. 1st and 10 Franklin, already up 41-0. Henderson Terrell with plenty of weapons in the arsenal, including Sutton, who stays out there on the field, and Hervey, who also simply turns around from defense to offense. Up top, Hervey, still some room. He's into the red zone. A catch by Braden Hervey that sets up this First Bank red zone chance. Gotta locate Braden Hervey.
Well, if you can run the football and then you get that guy coming out of the backfield, and you mentioned back there as well. I mean, that's a pretty potent group back there with Sutton and Hervey, and then you play action off of it, throw it to him down the sideline. It's tough defensively to pick him up, and got a big gain there.
Just when it looked like something positive may be brewing for East. Sutton, who had the takeaway on the interception, carries this down inside the 5. That'll take us inside a minute remaining in the opening half. Franklin going to be close to the half-century mark if they're able to capitalize on this drive. And as impressive, having allowed nothing on the other side to this point. It has been a complete effort for the Panthers. Sutton will finish what he started with the pick as he carries it home, the last leg of the journey. A touchdown run for Addix Sutton makes it 47-0 Franklin.
Set up by the pass play off play action on first down after that interception. Got it out of about 15-yard line. A couple plays later into the end zone for 6 points.
Talk about another player who's made a mark in all three facets. Tommy has the INT. You just saw the touchdown run, and you may remember he blocked that first punt earlier in this game. So special teams, a defensive, an offensive opportunity seized. If it sounds like a familiar refrain, it should. Addix Sutton with the united touchdown in a united effort for Franklin. Keeping the band busy on the far side with just over a half minute to go in the opening half. What can you say about the dominant nature of this performance for the Panthers?
Three phases of the game. I mean, the interceptions and the block punts, kickoff return as well. And they've just put on a dominating performance here in the first half. And their defense, when Henderson has had the football, they've got the interceptions, as we mentioned as well, but they've been able to kind of slow down an East Henderson team that's been pretty good running football this year.
The captain, 2 years running, he's been voted a captain. Addix Sutton with his touchdown run speaks to that leadership we discussed. From number 30, Daniel Riddle, senior kicker. Boy, has he been busy tonight. Both on point after try.
That's for sure.
Trying to take care of business in multiple facets, he and Will Sinclair. This gathered up by Caden Williams. Up across the 25 to the 29, and that's the time they'll have, about 29 seconds. As the clock begins to run, and you say, wait a minute, change of possession. Well, the separation on the scoreboard already putting us in this first half into a running clock situation. We'll see if East can get something off and even opts to on this drive ahead of the intermission. It looks as if, judging from the point of Colton Brackett and his staff toward that locker room, that this is going to bring us to the end of the first half. All 48 belonging to Franklin in what has been, and we use the word dominant, and all three facets performance for the crew wearing the red pants, the white jerseys, and those familiar Panthers colors. It has been impressive.
Yeah, it was. I mean, came out ready to play. The opening kickoff, 94 yards for the touchdown. Defense set the tone as well with the interception, a couple of interception returns, a pair of blocks as well. Great field position, and then the defense has been suffocated as well here. So if you could script it and write it up, it's pretty good for Franklin here in the first half.
You know, it may surprise you to know Franklin has been outgained in this contest, 117 to 94 total yards wise, but they haven't needed it because you know what's not in that number? The special teams impact plays, as well as the defensive takeaways that have set the stage on the doorstep of the goal line, Tom.
Yeah, they've been able to do pretty much whatever they wanted to do here in the first half, and, you know, coming off the 2-8 season from a year ago, and they had been a week off, and they came ready to play today.
Certainly have been effective in this first half. Always interesting to get the thoughts of the leading head coach going in at the half, who is now standing by with Nelson.
Thanks, Tom. Thanks, Jason. This is the Coach's Corner, brought to you by Carolina Furniture Content. So, Coach, I got to tell you, it truly is a one-sided game right now. You guys are firmly in control of the ball on both sides. What were your thoughts on the first half, Coach?
I thought we did a lot of good things on all three phases. We didn't run enough plays offensively, but the defense has been outstanding, and special teams has been the biggest difference in the game, changing it with a couple of block punts, and then a couple of those INTs have been a big difference maker, too. We got one half to go, and we just got to make sure we take care of business.
So what's the message to the boys in the locker room?
Well, at the end of the day, we need to know how we should be acting and handling ourselves on the field, off the field, etc. So I'm a little bit concerned about that. We'll talk about it. It'll be a good learning experience, and we'll get ready for the second half.
All right, Coach. Good luck to you and your boys in the second half. Yes, sir. Tom, Jason, back to y'all.
He is worried about the discipline piece, a guy who's always been intentional about the way his team handles itself on and off the field. But not much to worry about in all three facets football-wise. Dose after dose of Braden Hervey, who's responsible for 5 of the touchdowns, and Franklin has put up 48 in the first half on the road at East.
And your student body president, Jordan Brown. Jordan is escorted tonight by his mom, Amanda Trammell, one of 4 generations of Eagles in Jordan's family. Jordan's lifetime goal is to spread joy near and far. He finds joy in representing his school with extreme and heartfelt pride. He is proud of his ability to see the positive in all situations, even when it's hard. After high school, Jordan plans to attend college to become a teacher. Jordan Brown. And now, it's time to introduce our freshman class of 2028 court members. First up is Teresa Alejo Salinas. She is the daughter of Teresa
Welcome back to Friday Night Rivals here on the Asheville Chevrolet Halftime Show. Well, folks, before I introduce our wonderful and handsome men here from Asheville Chevy, I want to take a second to highlight the handsome and gorgeous people as a part of the homecoming court over my left shoulder right over here. Tonight is homecoming night for the East Henderson High Eagles. But we'll get back to that in just one second, folks. Tonight, we want to focus on the Asheville Chevy guys who are our longstanding and proud supporters. Gentlemen, good to have you on the show as always.
Great to be here, Nelson.
All right.
Great to be here as well, Nelson.
Of course. So, gentlemen, let's talk. What's going on right now over at Asheville Chevy?
Well, we got a new shipment of pickup trucks. We got new Suburbans, new Tahoes. They're all coming in. We need to get them out. So
I like that. So if someone wanted to come by and say, oh, I don't know, first thing tomorrow morning, what time are you guys open? Where can they find y'all?
Well, on 205 Smoky Park Highway at 9 a.m. from 9 to 5:30.
True businessman. I like that. And Joey, I want to turn to you for one second. You are the newest member of the Asheville Chevy family and, of course, the F&R family as well. Welcome, my good sir.
Thank you for having me. It's great to be here.
Of course. So what does it mean for you to be a part of these two families now at this point?
It means absolutely everything. I tell you, I played football growing up, and my dad always supported me. And to be able to do it here with the kids here, have them on TV, y'all do a great job, great production here. It is just, it's outstanding. I can't say enough great things about it.
All right. Now, gentlemen, let's talk. You know, of course, y'all have been long-standing and proud supporters of high school athletics for years and years on end. Bobby, as someone who's been here from the very beginning, dating all the way back to the inception, my question to you is simple. Why? What inspires y'all to do this?
Because we enjoy supporting the community, but more so in supporting the high school football. Because it means a lot to me as having a son growing up watching him play and being able to give them a chance to be on TV where they might not ever get a chance to be on there.
I like that. Speaking of chance to play, just for the record, Joey, what position did you play?
So I played cornerback and running back and a little backup water boy on the side, you know.
So you make Bobby Boucher proud. Is that what I'm hearing right now?
That's exactly right.
I like that. Now, I got to ask you as well, what inspires you to want to support high school athletics as well?
Just kind of like he said, like I said, I grew up with it, and I had a very supportive family growing up through it, and it means so much. I'm a huge football fan, and it's just something about it. These Friday night lights, it's great. It really is.
It does sound great indeed. Now, gentlemen, before I let you go, I know we talked about business just now, but just for the record, it sounds like business is great at this moment. Is business going to continue to be great throughout the remainder of the fall and well into the winter as well? Am I correct to assume that?
Yeah, so right now we're running a great voucher program as well. Check it out on Facebook. We've got some really great new models out there, the new Trax, the new Traverse, new Equinox. All these new body styles are coming out, and they look great. You really need to come check them out. Stop by the store.
That sounds fantastic. Bobby, you want to add to that?
Nope, just come on by, 205 Smoky Park Highway. I guarantee it.
I love it. Well, gentlemen, once again, on behalf of My 40 and Friday Night Rivals, we cannot thank y'all enough for y'all's proud and long-standing support.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. We'll be back in just a moment, folks.
Freshman court members. Next up is our sophomore class of 2027. First up for sophomores is Malia Bailey.
Friday Night Rivals Scholar Athlete, brought to you by Arby's.
Here we go. Okay, welcome back to Friday Night Rivals here on the show. For folks, throughout the course of the season, we will feature an array of Arby's Scholar Athlete winners here on this show. These Scholar Athlete winners are eligible to receive a $5,000 scholarship. Tonight, we are joined by the Arby's Scholar Athlete winner from Franklin High School, Miss Aubrey Haley. Aubrey, good to have you on the show.
Yes, you too.
Of course, and congratulations on the win as well.
Thank you.
Now, Aubrey, I want to talk about your sports trifecta. You are somebody who can be described as the queen of volleyball, the queen of basketball, and the queen of track and field. Is all that correct?
I would say so.
I'd like that. Now, how long have you played each of these sports? And more importantly, can you share with us some accomplishments in these three sports?
So for volleyball and basketball, I played starting in middle school.
Okay.
And then track is more recent. I started in 10th grade. And for track, I have made it to regionals all years that I have done it. And then for basketball, I was named all-conference for the 2023 season. And then for volleyball, I helped our team go to the conference championship of 2023.
That is fantastic. Now, I want to shift gears to talk about academics for a second because you are sitting on a sky-high 4.4 GPA. And from what I understand, you have made straight A's all throughout high school. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
That is most impressive. What is the secret to academic success?
So a lot of time having to put in after games, before games, after practice, being more involved, asking questions, and doing just more extra work after school and everything else.
All wonderful work indeed. And very briefly, I gather you're also very active in the community too. Is that right?
Yes.
What all do you do?
So I work with our church, and we do some community service stuff like helping our elementary schools and playing mulch. And then with our volleyball team, we go to elementary schools, we play with kids, we read with kids, just have a good time with all of them.
That is all terrific indeed. Well, Aubrey, once again, you are Arby's Scholar Athlete winner for this week. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Good luck in all your future endeavors as well.
Thank you.
Arby's, we have the meats. We'll be back in just a moment.
Career that will help those in need.
Well, hello there, everybody. Thank y'all so much for tuning in to tonight's Friday Night Rivals football game. Joining us today is our good friend all the way from Ingalls Markets, Miss Taylor Newhouse. Taylor, are you loving the game so far?
Absolutely. It's been a fun one to watch.
It has been a fun one to watch. Now, what are you anticipating? An explosive finish, I hope?
We always hope for an explosive finish, but definitely an interesting game.
All right, we got to talk at the end of the game then.
Absolutely.
Now, let's talk about high school athletics in general, because from what I understand, Ingalls Markets, y'all have had a long-standing and robust partnership, not just with our organization, but the entire community as a whole. Let's talk about the dynamics of that partnership.
Absolutely. We kind of gravitate towards athletics because we feel like it's a great way to reach our communities. But we're with these kids all the way from that first day of elementary school all the way through college. So we're really following them. But athletics is a good way to bring it all together because everyone loves a Friday night football game.
They do indeed, including you and I. That's
Absolutely.
Right. So it sounds like you guys really do bridge that link between academics and athletics. Am I correct to assume that?
Yes, definitely. We're there to support children through their entire educational experience.
Speaking of supporting children, y'all have people who come into y'all stores and end up working for y'all, people who you go to church with. I mean, this really is a tight-knit community. Is that right?
Absolutely. Ingalls is a beacon in all of our communities, and we love to get people in and out of the store, especially these kids that are working at our stores, our athletes and students in the schools that we support as well.
That's indeed right. Well, Haley, you know what time it is. It's time to get back to some football.
All right, let's do it.
Let's do it. We'll see you guys next time on Friday Night Rivals.
You're underway here in East Flat Rock, North Carolina. Happy to have you with us on Bojangles Friday Night Rivals. Quick return. Here come the visitors up the far side with all kind of running room and just Panthers. Hervey navigates the trap. Throw it again. And right. Well, a Franklin first half. The Panthers out front 48-0, but that's not dampen the spirits of those who have showed up for the homecoming festivities here at East. What you focus on now, Tom, as we look back at this first half of action, is a whole lot of number 11. All over the field in all facets, and it started with the opening kickoff, which he returned 94 yards for a touchdown.
Yeah, they wanted the ball, and on the kickoff, Hurley missed those 8 games last year, and he turned in a remarkable performance in the first half, beginning with this jaunt for 94 and a score.
Braden Hervey also with a rushing touchdown, more than one. This, of course, the first. He had a defensive touchdown, a pick six. To add to what was all 3 facets night, he was responsible for all but one of the first half touchdowns in one way or another.
Yeah, it takes it 51 yards. That's a pretty good first quarter, wasn't it? Hand it to him one more time for another one.
Works his way into the end zone. Here's the surrounding cast doing a really nice job. This a pick brought back by Aiden Pitts, and he carries it on in. And here was the touchdown run from Addix Sutton, the captain and leader. Boy, so much impact from that trio. And Tom, you look at the numbers overall, and yeah, the total yards aren't going to be there, but a short field will do that to you. This is a team that Franklin, when you look at the special teams numbers, when you look at the defensive numbers, has been dominant in all 3 phases.
And the turnovers there you'll see as well, and what they contributed to 3 touchdowns in the first half, a couple of block punts, as you said, and then their defense was smothering then. East Henderson got a little bit going in the rushing game late in the first half, but it was all Franklin in the first half. They really never had to put together any long, time-consuming drives. They were able to score in a hurry.
Everybody's focused on homecoming here at East right now, and the homecoming festivities continue. We'll be back with the second half of action between the Panthers and the Eagles after the Asheville Chevy show wraps momentarily.
What a great catch from Shane Bauer, 6'2 senior.
14-point lead for the visitors.
Second half on the horizon. Franklin out front 48-0. East Henderson having made its way back out onto the field. Same thing true for the Panthers alongside the Eagles as we get set up for the third quarter. Rolling around the track. Homecoming court having been introduced and the superlatives announced, and now that memorable lap around the track. And a true classic as we set up for the third quarter. Congratulations to the homecoming queen, homecoming king, and all those who were part of the homecoming court tonight here in the land of Eagles. We welcome you back to East with the Carolina Furniture Concepts Coach's Corner as we hear from the head man here at East Henderson.
Thanks, Tom. Thanks, Jason. This is the Coach's Corner, brought to you by Carolina Furniture Concepts. Well, Coach, I have to ask you, what was the message to the boys in the locker room? What can we expect in the second half of the game?
We had a united front sat in the locker room, and we had a long talk. Effort, I can't coach effort, can't coach heart. Ball's in their court. Everybody's going to be coachable.
All right. Good luck in the second half, Coach. Back to you, Tom. Back to you, Jason.
Well, you heard it clearly. Everybody will be coachable after the conversation that they had in the locker room. And he was clear, Tom, that he understands what the expectations are and the personal expectations for this team, the internal expectations as high as anything else. Here's a look at a Franklin team well out front. I think it's safe to grade them with an A in terms of keys to the game. We revisit our Hyundai of Asheville keys to the game. How have the Panthers done in terms of tempo? And I think making plays speaks for itself.
Well, yeah, I mean, from a tempo standpoint, we meant that more along the lines offensively, but they didn't have to do that very much. They made many big plays. And then East Henderson protect the football. That didn't happen, and they wanted to keep it away from a Franklin team that had scored on an average 32.9 per game and 30-plus in the first three. They were unable to do that either in the first half.
The individual they could not play keep away from more than anyone else is Braden Hervey. It may sound like a broken record, but for fans who were not with us to see the exploits of number 11 in that first half, here are the numbers to back it up. 5 total touchdowns, of which he was a part, Tom.
Yeah, I got a chance to get healthy and play again this year, and then they started with a 94-yard kickoff return, a 5-yard run. They'd converted on a 4th down of that second possession, 51-yard interception, a 1-yard run as well, and then he added another 9-yard run in the second quarter as well, an interception by Aiden Pitts, and also then interception by Sutton, and then he was able to take it in for a touchdown as well, the 17 TDs in the first half.
Yeah, pretty impressive to keep up with all that on that scorecard over there in terms of all the activity of the defense, the offense, and the special teams. We talk a lot about all three phases on this show week in and week out. Rarely do you see it as evident as it has been for the Panthers of Franklin in this one. Franklin won the toss, elected to receive, and took the kickoff back 94 yards in the first. Here's Caden Williams returning this across the 30 to the 35-yard line for East, as they will have the first crack at it offensively in this third quarter. Good day so far for Williams. 12 carries, 59 yards. He's averaging right at 5 yards per carry. Not only what he's done there, but also in the return game. He's been one of the bright spots for East.
Yeah, particularly late in the first half. I mean, it just got off to such a tough start. A block, punt, fumble recovery, interception, block, punt, fake punt, interception, and then a punt and interception after that as well. Time ran out. Those were the possessions of the first half for East Henderson.
And there is Williams right in behind Lex Burns, the QB. It will be Caden Williams on first touch of the third quarter from scrimmage, and he's right back to the 35-yard line. The line of scrimmage is about all. Of course, Caden Williams, we told you, handles both these responsibilities and the return responsibilities in this year's junior campaign. Quite the compliment to Schultz, who wears jersey number 3. Noel, who we saw early in the contest make a difference. 1-9, a big contributor along the way here. They're all trying to take their cues from number 9, the mature senior QB, who decides to call his own number here. There is Burns. He's up near the 40. And it's going to be third down at about 6.
Franklin's done a good job on Burns. I mean, he comes in 27 carries, 213 yards, 4 touchdowns, almost 8 yards per carry. And he really has not been able to get going much. They've done a really good job on the triple option. You set up with a double wing and the fullback and then send in motion and kind of flip around a little bit. But I'll tell you, the front defense has been good, and then you get the flow of the linebackers they really like, and they did a good job to shut that down today.
The other thing they've done nicely, getting off the field on third down. 1 of 6 conversion-wise for East to this point in this third down situation. Little motion that time. Going to come this way. Schultz. He's got the first down across the 45. You can move the chains. As Isaac Schultz. Talked about him from a confidence standpoint. Guy who led the team in rushing and receiving. Entering things. The 4 standout games he's put together so far. He will try to match here in this third quarter. 1st and 10 from the 46. Of course, the clock's going to continue to run. That placed in effect toward the end of the first half. So it's really about working on some things to build for the next conference contest and what's to come overall for this East squad. Just try to get some traction. And you heard it from the head man Colton Brackett coming out that everybody was attentive and everybody will be teachable in this third quarter. And on a night like this, that's what it's about, Tom. How can you grow a little further for what is to come? This is a team that believes tonight may not be the night, but this year is the year they will break that conference streak, even though the Mountain 7 is as tough as ever.
Yeah, we're talking about that with him. That's something that needs to happen. And in visiting with both coaches, the Mountain 7, we may get into a little bit more. They think it's going to be highly competitive this year.
Well, we'll certainly have a chance to, hopefully, before the night is done. It's among the most competitive conferences here in the Mountains overall. And one of the more competitive runs we've seen from the guys in green tonight. Here's Lex Burns. He's inside the 30. You can move the chains and a whole lot more. The run of the night for this triple option offense.
Yeah, they've had success up inside, and this opens it out, and they collapse on the fullback, and he steps outside. We gave his numbers just a moment ago. He's been highly successful this year and has not been able to get too much into the running game. But here early in the third quarter, I think this is a pretty important drive for him.
26-yard run for Lex Burns. It is, again, the high water mark in terms of single carries for this East squad. Burns set up at the 25, knocking on the door of a first red zone opportunity for the home team. But before this play can be run, there is a flag. You know, you're seeing signs of life from this team, Tom. It's an indicator that they heard what was communicated during that halftime conversation.
Yeah, they want to just, flush it. Let's get on to the second half. Let's have something positive happen here in the second half. Been challenged, I'm sure, as we visited and heard from the head coach at halftime about what they want to try to accomplish here in the second half. And, so far they've been able to move the football down the field, and the most sustained drive they've had of the night.
Helped move the football a little bit here by the penalty. That was offsides against Franklin. Sets up a 1st down and 5 now. And Burns, a little bit of trouble with the exchange, but a heads up. Dakota Page dives on the football, and he retains possession for East.
Yeah, and if you're in Franklin, you want to come out and play hard here in the second half. You got that big lead, and sometimes there can be a little bit of a letdown there. And fortunately, able to land on top of the football and keep it.
Peyton Shelton, his eyes got real big there. He saw the football out in front of him, but again, nice play from Dakota Page after it went off his left leg to get right back up on top of the football. There's Dakota Page coming to the sideline. 14 years ago on this East squad. Now at the helm of it, calling this play. And it's Williams who's going to sweep this far side. He's got a first down. Caden Williams, now this is the last thing you want to see from a young man who I was just about to say has put together a tremendous night rushing the football.
Yeah, we saw Noel go out a little bit earlier in the first half, and down the stretch in the first half, he was probably the most prolific offensive player that they did have. And you look at the numbers at halftime. If people just looked at the numbers, now the 3 takeovers that you saw, you wouldn't believe it. The score is what it is right now, but able to take advantage of a number of situations in the first half.
14 carries, 70 yards for Caden Williams. He has set up the First Bank red zone chance, and it will be a toss to Schultz. He's looking for some room, but there are too many white jerseys. In the end, he is going to be drugged down as the guy on the scene to wrap him up was Davion Hall, a freshman. Boy, you think about some of the freshmen getting some valuable time now for visiting Franklin, and here's Davion Hall's moment of the night.
Yeah, and a good job there to force it back inside where there was heavy pursuit, and helped him have the opportunity to make that tackle.
Among others on the scene, Looking for a jersey number 4. Getting some of those peripheral contributors in there. May not be necessarily on the roster on a night like this, but you get a chance to play some key moments, and who knows what you'll be called upon for later in the year. And that's a big opportunity in the backfield. Another tap of the helmet for Davion Hall, who's in there one more time. Take a look at Hall right as it's given to Schultz, and he makes a nice tackle with nobody else around.
Yeah, came straight up the field and set to force it back inside, and he was able to make the individual tackle himself. The fact that you get an opportunity, I mean, you got to play. And in this case, with Franklin, having a chance maybe to play some guys that they get some fire under the lights.
You saw Javier Acevedo working to the ball there, flying to the football on that play as well. Pulled down by Burns. Burns going to toss it out. That's caught by Page. And he's going to stay up inside the 5, and he's trying for the end zone. There's a home team touchdown. First of the night, and it belongs to Dakota Page. Somewhat fittingly, remember it was Page who preserved the drive by covering up the football a little bit ago, and he carries it home on the toss from Lex Burns. East Henderson on the board. Mid-third.
And I tell you what, he kind of tiptoed down the sideline as well for that touchdown. Nice job, nice drive, way to come out and take the opening possession, have something positive happen here early in the third quarter play.
Well, a chance to work on a 2-point play that may be needed on down the line here in 2024. As the clock continues to wind, Lex Burns brings them up to the line. Burns fakes to Page and keeps it himself on into the end zone. 8 on the board for East Henderson. A touchdown and a 2-point conversion. This team was challenged at the intermission by its young coaching staff. Dakota Page and company answer the bell. Don't forget to keep an eye on News 13 each Friday at 11 for Friday Football Frenzy, brought to you by Foundation Solutions of Western North Carolina. Each Friday throughout the season, Chris Womack and Marvin Parker give extended coverage to all the high school football in our area. That's Friday Football Frenzy, Friday nights at 11. Well, it has been a night belonging to Franklin, but this moment belongs to East. They come out in the third quarter, march down the field, 10 plays, 65 yards, and a 15-yard pass with a running clock over 10 minutes off the game clock as a result, and there are just 95 seconds left in the third quarter as Franklin touches the football in the third period for the very first time. And the guy who's touched it more than anyone else tonight, Braden Hervey, takes it up the far side, brings it back near the 35-yard line. Boy, Tom, that was just what East needed to try to build on something. The rest of the night and moving forward the rest of the year. Promising year for this East squad when you consider the way it has started, even though tonight has been a little difficult. One thing you want to know is, how does your team respond? And the answer is very well.
Yeah, they came out and ready to play, and I'm sure they just wanted to get that first half out of the way. They were able to establish a running game up inside. They got some of the option game going as well, and they were able to kind of filter in a little bit of the passing game, which was a very effective drive.
This may be the only play from scrimmage in this third quarter for Franklin, as it is given to Will Sinclair with Brock Bradley in there at the quarterback position. You'll remember Brock Bradley, who's been the tight end throughout the night tonight, was the quarterback a season ago before they turned the reins over to the sophomore Anderson Terrell this campaign. And that likely will be the only play from scrimmage for Franklin in the third quarter, which is winding toward closure. We are set to head to the fourth. Those 48 points put on the board in the first half by Franklin has the Panthers well out front on the road at East.
Welcome back to Friday Night Rivals. Well, folks, I'm standing here on the sidelines at East Henderson High School with some of the gorgeous cheerleaders of East Henderson High, along with the handsome Principal Scott in the background back there. Ladies and, that's right, go Eagles indeed. Ladies and gentlemen, on behalf of my 40th Friday Night Rivals, we thank y'all for allowing us to be here tonight for y'all's homecoming, and we proudly present y'all a check for $500!
Well, always a pleasure to make the journey around the Carolinas on given Friday nights. It was weird being away last Friday night with the weather moving so many of the games up. Good news, there are plans in the works to try to make sure that we maximize what we can bring you. And on Friday Night Rivals, moving forward, of course, you know, every Friday night, weather permitting, we're going to be right here for you. So just stay tuned for what's coming week after week, Friday after Friday, and we'll pass that along as it becomes available to you. We know where we're going to be next week. Gaffney, South Carolina, Spartanburg Vikings rolling into town in one of the historic rivalries in all of the Carolinas. A couple of teams that always have designs on playing for a state championship will duke it out as Mark Hodges' team visits Dan Jones' country for the final time. The Gaffney head coach calling it a career after this year.
Yeah, veteran head coach going to hang them up, and historic there at Gaffney and Spartanburg as well. Doesn't get much better than that.
Well, both those teams believe they can win a South Carolina State championship this year. We'll see. Of course, this Franklin team, you know the history of their championships. There's a guy trying to restore some playoff run glory to this East team that has not been able to hold their head high for a while. And those are his words, but they've done so coming in here this year, and it's easy to see how his team has responded in this second half and what that may mean for the remainder of the season. There's a lot of it left. You know, same thing holds true for Franklin, Tom. And we talked to Coach about the Mountain 7. We talked to him about the schedule. He said, you know, he doesn't like talking now, of course, about Coach Josh Brooks. The fact that everybody almost has a bye week before they play him. He said, but you got to play the ones that are out in front of you. He plans to do that and return to the same type of success that Coach Josh Brooks' coach teams have had over the years. And, you know, no reason to believe that won't be the case, even though the Mountain 7 is going to be real tough. Tristan Freitag, the junior, getting a nod here as he has his moment, and so many on the defensive side of the football getting their name called as well. Talon Smith, a senior, into the game for Franklin there on your screen. So key moments for young players to wade into their own careers. And some guys that are seniors get their chance on a night like this.
Get a chance under the lights, man. I mean, this is the kind of stuff you're going to remember a long time down the line. And we might mention and get into the fact that Franklin's one of those teams that practices occasionally at 6:30 in the morning.
Well, they do. You know why? Because one of the things that Coach Josh Brooks is so big on, family and what happens beyond the in between the white lines, and he makes that a point to make sure that happens. And you see how it translates to success on the football field. This family going to celebrate a Peyton King INT. The junior, who's had some moments already tonight, has another. And you can see this family celebrating. You know, their mantra this year, Tom, is whatever it takes to get the job done. King does here.
Well, they get the job done here on the interception. It's been that kind of night. A couple of them returned for touchdowns, and other one set up another touchdown as well.
All right, you talked about the 6 a.m. practices. That's because this is an athletic family, Coach Josh Brooks' family. He's, of course, got his brother on the staff. He was coached by his dad, who's his mentor, his hero, back at the very beginning of now a 19-season career in this location. And he's going to try to dial one up to remember here in the fourth quarter, but it is just out of the reach of the intended target down the far side as he tried to get Peyton Hervey involved. Still smiling here in the land of the Eagles as we have our Caroline Albee Orthodontics Smile Cam tonight. And Caroline Albee sponsoring our Smile Cam throughout the course of the Friday Night Rivals season. We encourage you to visit Caroline Albee Orthodontics, sponsors of our Smile Cam, and with locations to serve you in Asheville, Hendersonville, and the Brevard area. Got a player down, and both coaching staffs looking on as it takes a moment to get Colton Riddle to his feet. But the junior up now. Boy, talk about a family scenario. You think about Colton Riddle. We have on one side a set of twins, a couple of brothers, and we talked about that. And when we talk families, we were just getting into it, the Josh Brooks family. 19 years here. You know, nobody's been in the mountains longer and still coaching save Joey Robinson. He's the only one.
Yep.
And, you know, Shane Law's about a year behind now where Josh Brooks has been. And it's been in a few stints, Tom. He's stepped away for the family, come back. The conversation has been, how can we keep him in the mix? Because he's a guy that uses his platform for faith, for family, for the development of these young men beyond what happens on the football field. And it's made such a difference. Now, you reference those 6 a.m. practices. 6:30 a.m. practices, yeah, as Brock Bradley gives this off far side. Now, as we said in there, quarterback and working together with Sinclair again. That's because his daughter is a 9th grade volleyball player. Now, his wife is the volleyball coach, and he said, I missed so many games over the years. I wanted to set an example in front of my young men that family's important, and you have to put your money where your mouth is. He makes sure he doesn't miss a single volleyball game. If that means practicing early, if that means changing up the schedule, he's there to support the rest of the family in their athletic pursuits. How about this juggling act that results in a catch? One of the great ones you'll see as it is reeled in by Peyton Shelton. Talk about making the most of your moment. 1, 2, 3, 4. And on a 5th touch, Peyton Shelton has secured the catch. It is ruled that by our official right there on the scene.
You saw him smiling. That's going to show up someplace tonight, I'm sure.
Yeah, Peyton Shelton, big time catch. Now, they're still talking about it. The officials to make sure nobody saw anything different, is even on our look there, you kind of begin to wonder. But that young man hoping it sticks. He'll be talking about it either way because it was a juggling act to remember, whatever the case. One more look at the work of Peyton Shelton, the senior who's a wide receiver and a DB. Well, the officiating crew's still talking about it. And here's another look at it. Got a couple of things at play here, Tom. Boy, tipped by the defender. That gives a whole new meaning to the tip drill.
Yeah, I think the other angle we had
tells you whether it hit the ground or not. This is the one. Now, again, no video review in high school, but the officials will talk it over and see if it worked. And somebody saw something. What you're seeing perhaps on the screen right now, that this is going to be ruled incomplete. After initially being ruled a catch, it's going to be brought back. But I'm going to say it again. Takes nothing away from the juggling act of Peyton Shelton.
I tell you.
And we were just talking about the juggling act of family and faith and football and everything that goes into that. And you have to love what Josh Brooks told us when he said, I want this team to see who we are as men, who we are as fathers, who we are in the way we treat all those around us. And I want their game and their life to be raised and elevated from that. Well, this elevates the challenge every time the ball comes your way. One more look at the juggling act.
And really good camera work there to give you 3 different angles.
Great job by our crew to make sure you saw it from all sides. On the catch that was initially, but in the end was not, for Peyton Shelton. What a moment for that young man regardless. This is going to be given off. Coming near side, Avery Carpenter with the rush. And he takes a lick with 5:56 to play. Look at Avery Carpenter out of a cannon here.
Yeah, getting a chance to play here late.
Another of the seniors. Ball popped out, but it went out of bounds before East could hop on it. Tom, I thought that very admirable. You think of both these guys, whether it be the climb mantra for East, whether it be the whatever it takes mantra that goes beyond football and is to the development of these young men in the future of their lives. Very respectable the way Josh Brooks handles it. And he's come back more than once because of the ability to teach, train, and impact these young men in the ways that matter most.
Yeah, and I'm going to tell you, Friday nights are important, and high school athletics are important as well. Most of us played, and maybe not as successfully as we wanted to, but you do remember it. Most of us aren't going to play college football either, and so these are big moments, be it volleyball or football on a Friday night.
Well, and he's got a son that is also on the JV team, as well as we said, the freshman daughter on the volleyball team, and a wife who coaches there. A brother who's on the staff, of course, Jay Brooks. But you tip your cap to Josh Brooks. He said, this is a platform for my faith and my values, and it's my way, and here's what you love. It's my way to give back for all the blessings in my own life. And he's certainly given back to this community. It's been a run, Tom. This has been one of the consistent programs in terms of winning seasons in the mountains for a long, long time.
Well, 3 losing seasons in 25 years now. They'd maybe like to win a little bit more. They haven't won more than 7 since 2017. But you go back and you look at it historically for the last 25 years, and Coach Brooks, we talk about 26 years, 19 as the head coach, 4 undefeated regular seasons, and in the playoffs and competitive, and that's where they like to get back there this year.
We were dissecting the Mountain 7 with both coaches, as this is another carry for Will Sinclair. I haven't talked a lot necessarily about Sinclair tonight. Got a great name when you think about our broadcast company, the foundational pieces to Friday Night Rivals, right? Yeah. But Will Sinclair on the carry, one of his latest of the night. We were talking about the Mountain 7 and breaking that down. And, East coach Colton Brackett said he puts Franklin at the top. He said, West is right there. Obviously, Pisgah's right there with the strong physical nature of West. He mentioned Smoking, Tuscola, you have to. But he put Franklin at the top. And what we're seeing tonight may lend itself to that, Tom. Sinclair again. And he's going to be up near the original line of scrimmage with 4th down coming, 3 and change to go. Now, when we asked Coach Josh Brooks, he said Pisgah at the top because of all the talent they were returning. Then he mentioned West and said the old wrestling adage, to beat the man, you got to beat the man. And with the 3 years they've had in a row, West has got to be right there. But suffice it to say, it's going to be a highly competitive and very interesting conference to watch, the Mountain 7.
I think it'll be really competitive this year, and it's going to be fun to watch and see how it does play out eventually.
Well, you watch it, and again, the usuals will be there. It's going to be highly competitive as we get the conference season underway for these two teams tonight. Getting ready for a punt here, as back to return it at around the 50-yard line is Isaac Schultz, but there's going to be a timeout taken by East. While they take the timeout, it gives us an opportunity to tell you about one of our amazing sponsors of Friday Night Rivals. That, of course, is Carolina Furniture Concepts. You hear them on the Coach's Corner. Carolina Furniture Concepts has over $5 million of furniture in stock, ready to deliver to you. You can visit their Arden and Waynesville showrooms, or you can go online at CarolinaFurnitureConcepts.com. That's Carolina Furniture Concepts, a proud sponsor of Friday Night Rivals. Wouldn't be possible without the great sponsors that make this a reality week in and week out for you to have live high school football coming into your home or on your device, wherever you may be.
Yes. And, you know, we bounce around. We get North Carolina, South Carolina as well. Try to get everybody represented as best we can on Friday nights. Great to be a part of it.
You know, we talk so much about people who've made a difference in this portion of the country, and we were talking about it with these coaches. Randy Shepard's family also in the minds of so many. Former founder of Crossfire Ministries, who on his passing has captured the minds and hearts of so many, and we send certainly our thoughts there, our entire Friday Night Rivals family. And, you know, Tom, this is a night that we talk about what happens beyond football, and you see the training pieces there for both these coaches, and the future's bright for two programs with bounce-back seasons on the horizon. But when you shake it all out, East Henderson with something to build on in the third, Franklin with a message sent tonight, though, overall, about how strong they likely will be the remainder of the conference slate. This has been impressive from Franklin in all three facets.
Yeah, they've been able to show that they can play, as you mentioned, in all three facets. They scored, we talked about averaging 32.6, Murphy, Robbinsville, Swain County, and then here tonight they go to Tuscola next week. And, you know, I think they've raised the bar a little bit here tonight from the standpoint that they have been successful in all of those phases, and they know that they can get it done on Friday night.
Well, everything out in front of them with a whatever-it-takes mindset. This is going to be given to Leland Prutzman, one of the key seniors on the East Henderson side of things, on both sides of the ball. He one of the many outstanding performers who moved to linebacker on the defensive side, makes his mark here on the offensive side of things one more time. Back from injury, another of the players there, 4-year starter, getting looks from Brevard College and making his presence known in the latter stages of this one. 48 first half points. Very few second half touches needed for a Franklin team looking to put the finishing touches on it. And tucking this is Lex Burns, and he's up across the 40 to the 43. Well, one more reminder for you. Our journeys take us to Gaffney, South Carolina next week. We'll be at what they affectionately call the reservation there in Gaffney, as the Indians will host the Spartanburg Vikings. That always, it's one of the great historic rivalries in the Carolinas. So often the upper state championship comes down to these two teams, and they both have championship aspirations. Again, Mark Hodge and the Vikings visiting Dan Jones and the Gaffney Indians for a 7:30 kick, a 7 o'clock airtime next Friday night right here on WLOS, WMYA, and My 40s, Bojangles, Friday Night Rivals. Eli Stokes, the intended target. That is incomplete. Coverage provided by number 22. Jake Rogers, a junior, is back there to help disrupt it and bring the ball game to a close. A dominant first half and a 3-phases victory for the visitors from Franklin. We'll wrap it in a moment. Well, he started it and certainly had the monster night. What were we told by the coaching staff? Certainly Coach Josh Brooks made it clear that it is no surprise who the best player on this squad was. He played like it. Braden Hervey responsible for 5 touchdowns overall tonight. And this is a team that scored in all facets. A couple of special teams touchdowns, a defensive touchdown, and 4 offensive touchdowns, Tom, making up the point total in this one, as it was, well, we've said it more than once, but it's worth underscoring, an all 3 facets victory for Franklin. Has to make Josh Brooks happy. He's standing by with Nelson.
Thanks, Tom. Thanks, Jason. This is the Coach's Corner, brought to you by Carolina Furniture Concepts. Well, Coach, first thing is first, congratulations on an amazing win. You guys are truly in control of this game from start to finish. Excellent performances from your offense and from your defense. What were your thoughts on the second half of the game, Coach?
Well, I loved our attitude and our effort the whole night. We knew that East Henderson was going to be excited after their great start. I felt like that we controlled all 3 phases of the game and just completely dominated, actually, and super proud of our guys. Another big win for us. All right.
Well, now that you guys have locked in that 4-0 record, which is quite impressive, what's the strategy as we move forward, Coach?
Well, we just got to limit mistakes and continue to get better every single day. It's a hungry group. We've got something to prove every single Friday night. We're looking forward to next week.
That's fantastic. Well, Coach, this belongs to you. Congratulations, Coach, and congratulations, Coach!
Community is a new school, a new stadium on the horizon at some point, facilities coming, all built around their success. You know, they're celebrating in the shadow of the pit tonight because they have gone on the road and put together, as you heard it from head coach Brooks, a dominant victory all the way around, Tom.
You saw Braden Hervey there holding it up. He had 5 touchdowns tonight. Couple of interceptions for touchdowns. That started at 94 yards for the score, and just all the way around able to get it done offensively, defensively, and special teams. Couple block punts as well. Great field position. Took advantage of all of that.
Whatever it takes is the mantra. It took everything, and it was marked by a whole lot of Braden Hervey. 5 personal touchdowns and a dominant performance for Franklin. We'll see you next week from Gaffney as Spartanburg rolls to town. This one belongs to the Panthers as Franklin juggled it all and came out with the W to open conference play.